Hey guys, it's Marie Nicole here again. Today I'm going to be doing a card using this paper from Brutus Monroe. This is their Fall Tangled Elements paper, and it has some really beautiful images of pumpkins and leaves. They have some bigger prints and some smaller prints, and something that's really fun about these papers is they are printed with toner, which means that you can run them through your make machine or laminator and foil them. So I'm going to be doing a little bit of foiling today. I'm giving you a few sample looks at some things I've been doing with this paper. It's just really beautiful, and here's a little piece that I've kind of foiled, but I used an old piece of foil just to see how it would work so it didn't get all the images totally covered. But I'm going to be using this pattern here today. I liked the size of the images on this pattern, and I'm going to use this 7 Gypsies foil sheets that I found at Tuesday Morning, and these were on sale for 50 cents, so I just couldn't pass it up. Now, I don't think these are available in 7 Gypsies store anymore. I think they are an old item that's been discontinued, so I was really lucky to find them at Tuesday Morning, but I wanted to use these sheets on this Brutus Monroe paper just to see how the foiling would work in my laminator. So I placed the foil on the paper, and then I'm just taking a plain sheet of paper. This is like a regular printer sheet of paper that you would just, print through your printer, and I'm folding it in half, and I'm lining up that foil sheet, and I'm just closing it over the paper, and that just helps keep the foil in place, and it helps to run it all through the laminator together. Now this is my laminator. It's one that I got. It came with sort of a book binding kind of set, so the top actually heats up as well, and you can put the spine of a book with some glue in there and kind of make your own books, which is really kind of cool, but I pretty much use it mostly for the laminating, which is fine. But anyway, I am running through my little piece of paper and my foil through the laminator, and you can see it takes it and it slowly runs it through. It puts some pressure and some heat on that paper and that foil, and it makes the foil stick to the print. Now this won't work with just any printed paper. It has to be printed with toner, and so that's one thing that is really special about these Brutus Monroe papers, is that they are printed with toner, so you can foil with them. So I was so excited to see how it would look. So I'm carefully peeling up that scrap piece of paper, and I kind of rubbed down the foil a little bit just to make sure it would stick. And then carefully you want to peel away the foil, and then you'll see the beautiful design that it leaves behind. It foils the print on the paper itself. You can see how pretty and shiny that is, and it gets a lot of the little details. Now I did notice that there was a few specks here and there that didn't get foiled, and I don't know if that's the foil I used. I don't know if that was my laminator or what was going on. But for the most part, it did pretty good. And you can see that the image that it leaves on your piece of foil is beautiful too. So I'm sure you could use that as a card or some other project if you didn't want to throw that piece away. So now I'm going to take my paper and just trim off the sides that didn't completely get foiled. I just want the foiled part of it, and I'm going to line it up with my card base, and I want to cut it at an angle so that I'm just covering the bottom left corner of my card. So I'm taking a pencil and I'm just making some tick marks where I want to cut, one down in the corner and one up on the side, and then I'm just gonna use my straight edge trimmer and cut. I just line it up and cut it, and then I get a nice perfect match to that corner. So a lot of times I like to kind of map out what I'm going to do with my card before I adhere anything down. But the design I was going for this card was really simple, really classic, and I kind of knew what I wanted to do, so I felt pretty comfortable going ahead and just adhering this corner down. So I'm using some of my Tombow dot runner adhesive, and I'm lining it up in that corner, and I'm just going to press it down so it stays. And I know I'm already loving the look of this card, and I can't wait to get it finished. Now I'm taking some scallop borders dies from Lawn Fawn, and I'm taking that medium sized die that they have there. Now I've already mapped out and put some marks on this piece of paper of where I want my die to cut. I'm kind of making a panel to go over where I just glued down my foiled corner piece. And so I'm just lining up my die, I'm grabbing a piece of washi tape and making sure it sticks down where I want it to go, and then I'm just going to run that through my Sizzix. And I find it's really handy if I keep a piece of washi tape on my Sizzix machine, because a lot of times I get my dies lined up and then I realize, oh, I have to go grab a piece of washi tape. So then I have to kind of go get a piece of tape and then redo the whole process over again. So if I just keep an old piece of tape on my Sizzix, it helps things go smoother and quicker, and it just helps me personally. So that's why I have washi tape stuck to my Sizzix. Anyway, so I cut down that little border, that little piece that I used the border die on, and I want to tie a piece of Canvas Corp twine to the top. Now I love this twine, it just looks really great on everything, and I thought it went well with sort of the natural classic look of this card. So I'm just tying a little bow, just kind of fiddling with the strings there, trying to get it to look nice. I don't have a method of getting a perfect bow. I just tie a bow and I just play with it until I get it to look how I want it. I know some people out there will give you specific directions on how to tie a bow, and I'm just the kind of person that goes with it. Just fiddle with it until it looks good. Alright, so the next part, I want to adhere that panel down, and I wanted to pop it up a little bit to give it some dimension. And the way I'm doing that is, instead of using loads of foam adhesive, I'm using some craft foam, and I picked a color that kind of coordinated with what I was going with. I tried to find a neutral color, and I had this scrap piece that I cut up into little bits, and I kind of pieced it on the back there so that I could use up that little scrap piece. So I'm just putting adhesive on the foam, I'm piecing it together on the back of my card, and then I'm going to go ahead and put some more adhesive on top of that foam so that I can glue it down to my card base. And I'm trying to be pretty generous there with that adhesive so my card will stay together. Now I'm taking that panel and I'm just going to adhere it down right over that piece that I foiled down in the corner. And I really just wanted that foiled piece to look like it was just peeking out behind my popped up panel there. Now I took the leftover foiled piece of my paper and I just fussy cut a few of the leaves out. I wanted to bring some of that foiling up until to the opposite top corner, just kind of bring some more of that into the card. So I'm cutting about 3 leaves and I'm going to sort of stick them behind the bow. I'm not adhering them down yet because I haven't quite figured out what I wanted to do with a sentiment at this time, but I decided on using this Prayers stamp and die set, and I'm just using the dies. I wanted to keep my card really sort of clean and very simple, and so I liked this prayer sentiment. I was kind of thinking maybe I could turn this into a sympathy card or something. And so I took that die and I cut it out 3 times out of plain white cardstock. And the reason I cut it 3 times is so I could stack it on top of each other and make it kind of a little bit more popped up, or give it a little bit more dimension. And I'm showing you a close-up there because I want you to see that that adhesive that I'm using, the Tombow Dot Runner adhesive, does not leave hardly any glue between the little openings of that word. Some of the other adhesives will kind of do that sometimes, but this one doesn't. Anyway, so I'm stacking up my little pieces of cardstock that I cut out with that prayer sentiment, and once I had them all together, I wanted to adhere down my little foiled leaves first so that I could put the sentiment kind of over the top of them. So I'm just sticking them behind that little twine bow and adhering them down with my Tombow adhesive. And this little leaf right here, I kind of had it hanging over the side just a tiny bit. I just kind of like that look of it going off the paper. Now I'm just going to adhere down my little prayers sentiment using that Tombow adhesive again. I really like this adhesive for smaller die cuts because, like I said, the glue doesn't kind of like show between the little openings. Now I'm just kind of figuring out where I want my sentiment to go, and I'm just adhering it down. And the card is almost finished, but I'm going to adhere just my very last leaf right under the bow. I wanted to put this one on last because I did want to kind of pop it up a little bit over the prayers, the little word there. And so the way I'm going to do that, as you'll see here, is I'm going to take my Tombow adhesive and put it on the side with the stem. And then I'm also going to take a really tiny piece of foam adhesive and I'm going to just apply that to the other end. And so what that'll do is it'll have the one end flat on the paper and the other end popped up just a little bit. So it gives it a little bit of a dimension. And that pretty much finishes the card. I just wanted to keep it really clean and simple, and I really wanted the foiling to shine through, and I think that really achieved it with this whole design of this card. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. Leave me a comment if you have any questions. I'd love to answer them. Thanks for watching, and I hope I'll catch you next time. Bye.